Okay? And it says, question 7, an eagle is on top of a cliff. So here is the eagle on top of the cliff. The cliff is 83 feet tall. The eagle is looking at a rabbit on the ground. The angle of depression is 19 degrees. Now, technically, this is the angle of depression. It is not even in the triangle though, so instead of labeling it there, we'll label it down here because they're alternate interior angles, so they're congruent. But maybe a simpler way of thinking about it is, if I am the eagle looking at the rabbit, and you are the rabbit looking at the eagle, aren't our angles the same? It's just one of us is looking down and one of us is looking up. So, your angle of elevation or your angle of depression is going to go right there. They are congruent angles, so just mark it right there. The question is, how far is the eagle from the rabbit? Where's the eagle? Where's the rabbit? That's X. How far is eagle from rabbit? All right? Now pick a function, sine, cosine, or tangent. Gotta be sine. Opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 19 equals 83 over X. Opposite over hypotenuse, so patella. Multiply by X. Divide by sine 19. And I don't know what kind of stuff you've been doing on your calculator, but pay attention. That is 19 degrees. So your calculator needs to be set in degrees. And then just 83 divided by sine 19. Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Everybody else got that?
I have a question.
Yep.
6B on the one heart.
One heart.
It's not like it's.
6B.
Yeah, I just don't know how to look at it.
Somebody help him. That question for him is use a calculator to evaluate the cotangent of 3. You can help him. We do not have a cotangent button.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do? 1 divided by tangent. Because what is cotangent? The reciprocal of the tangent. And if I said, what's the reciprocal of 5, wouldn't you say 1/5? So when I say, what's the reciprocal of tangent, it's 1 over tangent. So, does that 3 have a degree mark on it? So it is a gradient. So I'm going to change my calculator in gradients. And then 1 divided by tangent 3.
-7.
Yep. Okay. Anything else? Yep.
10A on the
2 heart. 2 heart. 10A. Just says, it's kind of the same as this. It says evaluate the tangent of 158, 9. Now that is a degree. So I'm going to switch my calculator back to degrees. And then I do tangent, 158, second angle degrees, and 9 second angle minutes. 401. Right? Yeah.
For what? Could we do B for that as well?
Secant 1.9. that is Jimmy's question almost exactly. Secant 1.9, that is a radian measure. I don't have a secant button, so I'm gonna do 1 divided by cosine 1.9, but I'm gonna have to be in radian mode when I do that. So secant is 1 divided by cosine. So change your calculator into radians, 1 divided by cosine 1.9. Alright.
On one part, 6A is the answer, negative, like for the next question. It's 4 point, negative
11.4. Yes, like everyone else. So you can tell me which quiz you have and which problem you have. All right, either way. 1 heart, problem number. 1 heart, problem number 7. Got a picture that looks like this. And our job is to find X. Well, this is just like the eagle and the rabbit problem. Only the picture's already given to you, so now you've got to figure out which function it is. So is this going to be a sine? Here's your angle. Is that going to be a sine, cosine, or tangent problem? Opposite and hypotenuse. That's going to be a sine. So sine 81 is x over 36. So I set my calculator in degrees and do 36 sine 81. It is annoying to have to change back and forth all the time. So consideration, it's up to you, but like next time we take a quiz, you might go through and do all of the degree problems first, and then switch your calculator to radians and go back to the endpoints. It's up to you, but you've got to remember what mode you're in.
Am I allowed to ask a question about the homework?
Not yet. Are we done with the quiz? Okay, you can keep those. Yes, what homework am I looking at?
4.3.
Which problem in 4.3 homework?
What'd you say?
Which problem?
2, and then I think 2A.
2A on homework 4.3 says find the cotangent of 7 pi over 6. Now, first of all, people, those of you that type this in on your calculator, it says literally no calculator. Okay, so we are not using a calculator. Okay. So what should I do? I could change this to degrees if it makes me more comfortable. So that would be 210. And then I remember that when I'm doing regular math, not navigation, regular math, these are my labels. 210 would be right here, that's 210. Right? Then I make my triangle, butterfly bow tie. And then I figure out how big that guy is right there. That is the angle right there between 180 and 210 is 30. And of course that makes my heart sing because it's special. So across from 30 is 1, root 3 and 2. And then I have to pause for a second. Mark anything that needs to be marked negative. What needs to be marked negative?
Both negative.
Both of them. Because I'm in quadrant 3. Hypotenuse is never negative. I want cotangent. Cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So negative root 3 over negative 1. Your answer should be root 3.
How do you know it was 30? Thank
180 to 210. That angle right there is the one you want, and it's formed by the 180 line and the 210 line. Right? Okay. Yeah, that's big. You gotta get the right angle. All right, let's get out our Christmas review sheet that we started yesterday. It's gonna look like Christmas. That's the worst part. I can really I took things out this morning, I got roads, I had mine.
Hopefully we have all or something or so off.
No, e-learning is the worst. All right, here we go. We are on number 7. We already know how to do this. We talked about some of it today, actually. But these are all calculator problems. We're going to type these in on our calculator. And if you're following my advice, you're going to look at them quickly and notice that this one is a degree and these two are radians. So I'm going to go ahead and do the degree one first. So how do I type, or what do I type? Sine 19 second angle degree, 11 second angle minute. And what did you come up with?
0.
What am I rounding to, does it say?
0.3. No, it does not say.
It doesn't say, so we'll go to the 1,000. So it's 0.329? Okay. And we got it? All right. Now I'm going to change my calculator into radians. And I'm just going to press tan 2. Negative 2.185. Divided by cosine, 5 pi divided by 7. And use your pi button, which is over underneath the clear. So 1 divided by cosine, the parentheses come in automatically. 5 second pi divided by 7 equals negative 1.604. Got it? Okay. Now we got a squirrel sitting in a tree, spotting an acorn on the ground. Alright, so here we go. Here's the tree, here's the squirrel, here's the acorn, looking at the acorn. The tree is 15 meters tall. The squirrel's angle of depression is 19. Where am I putting the 19? Right here. And notice that's a degree. So when I get around to this, I'm going to have to have my calculator in degrees. How far is the acorn from the base of the tree? Does everyone understand the X is there?
And then if they would ask, so the squirrel to the acorn, type out.
So you got to read the question. Yeah. Okay, pick a function, sine, cosine, or
TOA.
tangent. TOA, tangent. So tan 19 equals 15 over x. X tan 19 equals 15. And x will equal 15 over tan 19, but you're in degrees, guys. Make sure you changed your calculator. Back in the degrees. Nothing is worse. Typing it all right, getting the wrong answer. I got 43.563 meters. Yeah. You got it? All right. Now I got another picture. And this point down here is the point 1, -2. Now, what does that mean in terms of my triangle? It means that I went right 1 and down 2. Does everybody get that? Which means my hypotenuse is not √3.
Square root.
Okay, I see what's happening, all right? I see what's happening. You see 1 and 2 and immediately think you're special right triangle. And that's okay. I mean, it's okay to think about that. But this is the way that looks. 2 is the hypotenuse. This is a straight Pythagorean theorem. Square root of 5. I don't need to know the angle in order to find all of them. So I need sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. I don't need to know the angle, right? I don't need to know it because I have all my sides. So what's sine? -2 over √5, beautiful. Which means the cosecant is √5 over -2. Remember, these are reciprocals. Cosine is 1 over √5. So secant is √5. It's fine. I'm pretty sure it's fine. All right, and then the tangent is -2 over 1, and the cotangent is -1. Are we okay with that?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's see what's on the back. Oh, a lot of us are missing this question in the homework. So let's look at this one very carefully. What are the 2 angles whose cosine is -1/2? Okay, now, we want the cosine to be a negative number. So in the whole butterfly bow tie system, there are 4 possibilities. 2 of those have a positive cosine, and 2 of them have a negative cosine. We need a negative cosine. Any guesses? What? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which 2 have a negative cosine? 2 and 3. Because cosine is associated with which letter? x to be negative. Where is x negative? Left. Right. So these two triangles have a negative cosine. And you can tell that because I don't know any numbers right now, but if I did, actually I do, I know the adjacent has to be -1 and the hypotenuse has to be 2. And I need to find that angle. Well, if that's -1 and that's 2, this is root 3. If you were unsure about that because of the confusion we had over here, do the Pythagorean theorem. 1 squared plus b squared is 2 squared. See how you get root 3? So how big is that angle right there? 60. And so is this one, because the triangles are the same. But 60 is not an answer to the question. Because our angles get measured from here. This is the answer to the question. 120. So one of your answers is 120. The other answer is the blue one. And he is 240. Everybody okay with that? All right. We're gonna do a couple more and then we're gonna go back to our graph. All right, find the exact value. Oh, we've done this today too. So we have secant 45. We have cotangent. We have cotangent 2 pi over 3. And we have cosecant 4 pi. Now, we're doing this without a calculator. There's a word in the problem that tells me it's no calculator. Exact. Exact means no calculator. If you use your calculator, you are going to get a big old ugly decimal that you're going to have to round off. We're not doing that. We're finding the exact answer. Okay? So, we'll do this one first. Do you agree 45 is right there? Rest of the signs of life out here, that's 45. Right in that perpendicular. Now, this is the one we were looking at before where we had confusion about the angle. The angle is the angle between the 0 line and the 45 line. So obviously that angle is 45. And the sides are 1 line root 2. Anything negative? I'm sitting in part of one. All right, secant, what is secant? It's reciprocal of cosine. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I need hypotenuse over adjacent. So the exact secant is root 2. You see why your calculator wouldn't be exact? It's going to say 1 point there than that. Cotangent 2 pi over 3. So we're doing the exact same thing. Got to figure out what 2 pi over 3 is. And somebody already told me it's 120. Is that all right with everybody? So 120 is over here. Butterfly both how big is it? 60. Anything negative this time?
Yeah.
What? The one's negative. Look at that carefully. Does everybody understand the one's negative? What's cotangent? Tan, right, flip up the tan. Tan is OA, opposite over adjacent. So this will be adjacent over opposite, or -1 over 3. Again, if you type that in on your calculator, it's gonna be a decimal, because you have to round off. This is the exact. All right, last one of this section. Secant, cosecant, 4 pi. Where do I start?
There's the 0 line.
4 pi is the same as 720. And if I draw 720 degrees, don't I just go around twice? So I'm gonna end up right here. That's where I'm gonna end up. And when I end up on an axis, I can't do this. No butterfly bow ties on an axis. Instead, we consider a horrible circle, but consider a circle. We're gonna let our radius be 1, which makes this point, if the radius is 1, this is the point 1, 0. Which means that x is 1 and y is 0. You with me? I want the cosecant. Cosecant is the reciprocal of a sine. I have memorized the sine is y over r. So it's r over y, which, 1 over 0 is 9. I was talking to a student this morning. I want to make sure you make this connection, because I think it'll make your life easier. All right, when I draw my butterfly bow tie triangle, I call this side opposite and this side adjacent, and this is the hypotenuse, right? And then I say things like sine is opposite over hypotenuse. But if I draw a circle, then this side, I might think about a point right here, that point right there. This would be the radius of the circle, agreed? And I don't know what that point is, but don't I go over and up to get there? So this is x, and this is y, over x, up y, to get to that point. So then sine, if I look at the red, sine is y over r. See how they're connected? The y side is the opposite side. The x side is the adjacent side.
How would, X and R both be 1?
Well, they can't be, because when that would be on an axis, that would not be the triangle. Okay, that's not a triangle. But if I am okay with making this connection, then that means sine theta is going to be y over r for every angle. So even when I draw it on a circle like this one, it works. I just think you have so much to memorize. If you can connect opposite with Y, then I think it helps adjacent with X. You don't have quite as much to memorize that way. All right, we'll do one more, and then we're gonna pause and do a little graphing. All right, so here we go. Now we got a hole. The pool casts a shadow 10 feet long. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are shadows? On the bottom. Here's your shadow. Shadows aren't out here in space. They're right there. Right? The angle of elevation of the sun, guys and girls. We spent some time talking about it a minute ago. Where are we always gonna put our angles of elevation and depression? Right there. That's where they go. Don't overthink it. That's where they go. And I want to know the height of the bullet. Now remember, quiz day, I'm not reading the questions to you. You gotta figure this out. Does that setup make sense to everybody? All right, pick a function, sine, cosine, or tangent. Tangent. So tan 28 equals x over 10. X equals 10 tan 28. Pay attention, what mode do I need to be in? Degrees. This is 10 tan 28. The height of the pool is 5.317 feet. Pretty short pool. Alright, so we're gonna spend one more day, we'll finish this up next time we have class. Okay, and then the time after that, we're gonna have a quiz over these Christmas gift problems, which is basically everything we've done except the graphing. Okay, so no graphing on the quiz. Eventually, we'll have a quiz over that. Yeah, next quiz will be this. So, everybody clear? Next class, we finish reviewing. And then the time after that, okay. So let's get our notes out now. And let's do a little more graphing. Don't forget, Serial Drive starts Monday. Pop-Tarts, yep, there's cereal. However, the Pop-Tarts need to be how big of a box? 12 counts. Don't be bringing those little tiny boxes. It's gotta be a 12 count if you're bringing Pop-Tarts. But Pop-Tarts are fine. If you don't have school Monday, we're going to have school Monday.
Why do you think that?
Because we have to have school on Monday. E-learning is terrible.
So you're just speaking into existence.
Huh?
You're speaking into existence.
Yes. Someone has to listen to me.
Someone will. Trust me.
All right, here we go. Also, blood drive Wednesday, you heard Finn's plea this morning. Consider it, get signed up. Wow. Wow.
A lot.
There's a lot.
But we know something.
We know. Good, we should know
We
something.
know it's one fit.
We know what's one thing.
The height.
Not height, which, I'm not gonna argue with you, that is exactly right. What do we call height in trigonometry?
Stretch.
Amplitude. So the amplitude is 1/5. So 1/5 here and also should know that the general shape of a cosine is half a hill, the valley, and the other half of the hill, right? That is our general shape. But Alden has said, whoa, this is moving us how? Left, kind of right. Remember, when you add or subtract from x, you are moving sideways. And it's the opposite of what you think, it's factually. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to put negative pi over 8 right here. Okay, there's my label, negative pi over 8. I am not going to get all hung up about using graph paper and stuff. Just label your starting point. In this case, negative pi over 8. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're taking this shape and you are shifting it left pi over 8. All right? Now, I can go ahead, I need to do this carefully. I can go ahead, there's my hill. My valley. Yep. So I have the exact same shape that I had before, just moved over. Your job is to find that point right there where we cross, this point right here where we bottom out, this point right here where we cross, and then of course our end point. Every time you grab a sine or cosine, you will be split up basically into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Those are what were the quadrants. Okay? Now there's been another change. Besides what's already indicated, what else has happened? This takes the period, which is supposed to be 2 pi, right? I didn't label these, but remember in the original sine and cosine, the period is 2 pi. Guys, there's a lot here, you gotta stay with me. The period's 2 pi. But we're dividing that by a half. This number divides the period. So it would be 4 pi. Now, what does that mean? That means from this hand to this hand is a distance of 4 pi. That is not 4 pi
Because it costs 0.
because
No word.
I started over here. So how will I figure that out?
4 pi minus 5.
Negative pi over 8 plus 4 pi. That's exactly right. Jimmy says, I am starting at negative pi over 8 and I'm adding 4 pi to it. He said it in the other order, but it's the same thing. He started here and he added 4 pi. Well, 4 pi is 32 eighths. So what's this label? Negative 1/8 and 32 eighths would be 31 eighths. Don't forget the pi. I'm not saying it, but it's in there. Now, tell me about that guy right there. He is the midpoint. He's the midpoint of negative 1 and 31. Negative, I'm not putting the fractions in. Negative 1/8 and 31 eighths. So I need the middle of negative 1 and 31. So how do I find midpoint? I add and divide by 2. Midpoint is average. -1 plus 31 is 30. Divided by 2 is 15. So this is 15 pi over 8. -1 plus 31 divided by 2. That's how you find midpoint, the average. The midpoint is the average. Now, what about this guy? He's the average of these two. My scale is totally wrong, but you're right. But what will this be? 7 pi over 8. And then what will this guy be? What? 15 and 31 makes 46, and half of 46 is 23. Midpoint is average. How do you average? Add and divide by 2. -1 plus 32 is 31. Now, I want you to notice something. My graph doesn't make sense because my scale is off, but from -1 to 7 is a distance of 8. From 7 to 15 is a distance of 8. 15 to 23 and 23 to 31. Now, why was that distance 8? Well, it's really 8/8, which is 1. Because the whole distance was 4 pi, and we split it up into 4 pieces, so each piece would be 1 pi, 8/8. So that's another way you can think about it. That's always the case.
Is there like an easier way you do it? Like just find the first one and then just add more?
That's what I just said. I was just saying that. If you know the whole period is 4 pi, then each section is going to be 1 pi. So start here and add 1 pi, which is 8/8, and then another pi and another pi. Now, what you're adding isn't always going to be 1 pi. What you're adding is going to be a fourth of whatever your period is. All right? So that may or may not save you any work. I don't know. It just depends what the numbers are in your problem. All right, let's do one more, and that will be all for today. All right, let's look at the next one. There's a lot going on here, too. Now, I know that my sine curve is going to be upside down. And I know it's going to start where? Positive pi over 7. I know the period's almost over, you guys. Let's stay focused. Alright, so I have an upside down sine curve that's starting here. So I'm just going to go ahead and sketch that in. Alright, you okay with that?
What does the -2 do from it?
Turns it upside down?
Is that turned upside down?
Yes,
Okay.
because what does a regular sine look like?
Does it go up
It's a
first?
hill and a valley. Yep. Yep. Now that 2 does something else though. It changes these to a -2. That's my amplitude. Our period in a regular sine curve, our period is 2 pi. But we've changed it, right? So what's going to happen? I'm gonna divide it by 1/3, which is gonna turn it into 6 pi. Now, that does not mean this is 6 pi. It means from here to here is 6 pi. So how will I figure out what that is? 1/7 plus 6. So 1/7 plus 6. That's 1/7 and 42/7. So will this be 43 pi over 7? Now what will that be? That will be right in the middle of 1 and 43. What is the average
22.
of 1 and 43? 22 pi over 7. How did we get 22 pi over 7? 1 and 43 is 44, and half of 44 is 22. Now the bottom of the valley is going to be halfway between 1/7 and 22/7. Now you guys, here's where things are going to get a little bit different because of just the arithmetic. When I add those together, I get 23/7. Would you agree with me? Now I have to divide by 2. That doesn't divide by 2. So instead of dividing by 2, I'm going to have to multiply by 1/2. So this label is 23 pi over 14. It's just arithmetic. Do the same thing here. You have 22/7 and 43/7. That will give me 65/7. Now I need half of that. If that had been 66, I'd be home free, but it's 65. So when I take half of it, I'm going to get 65 pi over. Okay, those are a lot. I get it, they're a lot. But you are strong and smart,